How's it going, guys? What are you at? This morning, this afternoon, this evening, tonight? I don't know what time it is you're watching this video, but whatever time it is, thanks as always. And if you're a new individual watching this video, welcome to my channel. The topic of the video today is going to be reviewing some of the gear that myself and Saku took with us on our 68-day trip across Newfoundland. If you want to check out that Crossing Newfoundland series, you can hit the link above here, and that was 10 episodes that I had edited of our long journey. If you're new to the channel, you won't know what I'm talking about. Just go check the link out that I just put there, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the adventure. But for those who've been around here on the channel for a while, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I actually went over, I had a video on this channel around a month ago, I think it was, and it was me reviewing some gear I took on a spring camping trip from this past spring. It's called How to Plan a Camping Trip, and I'll put the link there. And you can go watch that video, and I do go over some of the gear that I took with me on this Newfoundland expedition, but not all of it. So that's why I'm making this video today. I got some items behind me, and I'll go over some things that I haven't yet talked about. It's quite a mess here in the basement this afternoon. I got some stuff, of course, behind me for the video that I'm going to show you the once, and but I have some stuff in front of me as well. I'm planning a short trip next week to go out for 5 days. Me and Saku are going to be on that trip. I think I'm leaving beer home, but I'm going like minimalist style with the raft, minimal gear, minimal food, and Saku will have the food he needs, of course, but I'm doing that to prepare for a longer trip I want to go on later in August. That's going to be approximately 3 weeks. I'll get into that one later on. Maybe I'll just go on that one in August and not say anything about it, and I'll have some sort of film done up when I get back. That's my plan. I want to have real good film made. But I'll also be filming this trip next week as well, this short trip, this you know, 4 or 5 days. I'm hoping 5 days I'll get out for, and but that will be one for the channel as well. So I just want to get out and test some things and do what I normally do, get out and learn. That's the only way, as I say. But other than that, yeah, I hope you guys are all having a good, you know, I hope spring was well, and I hope, you know, summer's starting off on the right foot, because today is the first day of summer. But I hope it's all going well. I hope you're getting out and going on some adventures of your own, and just enjoying the great outdoors in however which way, you know, you love to do it best. For myself, I'm actually going, me and Heather are going to Spain in 2 weeks, so we're going for like 15 days, so there'll be, I'm hoping to have a few videos in the bank, videos from this adventure I'm going on next week. And after I do this video today, I think I'm going to do a first aid kit video as well. So anyways, I'm hoping I'm going to have a few videos for you over the next month, even while I'm gone. I won't be documenting the trip in Spain. Just, I'll have some pictures and stuff that I'll share on social media. But as, you know, with regards to making a video, I don't think it's going to be like that. I think we're just going to chill out and enjoy the moment, you know, and I'll be happy with that, and I'm sure Heather will be as well. But yeah, that's it. Just plugging away. One thing I don't think Heather does enjoy is my new facial hairstyle, the handlebars, you know, the Hulk Hogan classic. I shaved him in there the other night, and I don't think she's too happy about it, but that's it now. She's going to have to deal with it. What I got done was, you know, I always get a fair bit of facial hair, and, you know, it's kind of sometimes half like suffocating. Not really, but, you know, once in a while you just want to feel that kind of bare skin. So I shaved it all off and just left this handlebar style, which I I've only done one time before. It was during November back in like 2016 when I was teaching in Labrador. I got handlebar action going in and had a little, you know, Movember page raising a few funds. But yeah, it's been a while, but they're back. Just like this polo's back. You know, go Habs go. For all you Leafs fans, I bet you're licking your lips to throw this over your shoulders, aren't you? Yeah, I'm going to throw it on for a laugh. It's a nice polo though, nice Under Armour style. But yeah, anyways, enough yapping from me about this stuff. What I'm going to do now is go over the gear I have behind me and just talk briefly about the items. Yeah, I think that's the plan. I got a list here in front of me. And one more thing I wanted to add. I went on a speaking tour here locally in Newfoundland. And if you happen to be out the tour, I really appreciate you coming out to it. That went well, my first official speaking tour. Lots of people came out. It was great to meet everyone. And yeah, there'll be lots more speaking tours to come, hopefully, and trips. And I have books coming out this fall. Saku has his own children's book coming out, which is exciting, called Saku's Great Adventure. And that's the Newfoundland expedition, as I've said before, told from Saku's point of view. And I have one coming out as well that I wrote on the experience crossing Newfoundland, which is the same trip that that encompasses the 10-part series that I have on my site. So anyways, that book that I wrote gets into this gear as well, and you know how it worked out for me, and there'll be a gear list of everything I took, and I'll review some of it. But without further ado, I'm going to get into the few items I have here behind me. The first item I have here is this Anchor solar panel. So this was the one I took across Newfoundland with me. If you've watched the series, spoiler alert, when we flipped over our raft, I lost the power bank that goes with this, but I did keep the solar panel. So I haven't actually used it since I've returned from that trip. I upgraded to a bigger one, which I have upstairs now, and I think I reviewed that in my other gear video. It's the Goal 01, and that one is a fair bit bigger than this. It has 3 panels, but the panels are a lot bigger, and that's a bigger surface area for absorbing more of the sun's rays and giving me more power. So that's kind of why I upgraded. But this still is good and usable, and I actually am considering taking it with me next week to lighten the load, because the other solar panel, the Goal 01, is much heavier. So I think I'm going to take this one with me instead and try it out next week, because it's lighter. So it's, I don't know if I mentioned again, but this one is 15 watts, whereas my Anchor one is 21 watts. So yeah, good piece of kit though, and it's a fair bit cheaper than the Goal 01. So if you're looking for a solar panel, yeah, it's the Anchor PowerPort Solar. I might put a list of this in the description. If not, there is one on my website, newfoundlandexplorer.com, and you go look for the Crossing Newfoundland equipment list. So again, newfoundlandexplorer.com, and that is in the video description, the link to my website. But you can find the full gear list there as well. I have, now these are a pair of, you know, on the trips, I'm wearing, you know, these high-cut Lowa boots, which are actually behind me. These are the ones I use crossing Newfoundland. I wear those, but they get wet and stuff throughout the day, and you want a pair of slippers, you know, camp shoes, when you get to the site in the evening and you take your big boots off. So on the Newfoundland trip, I just had a pair of Nike sneakers, but they got, like, you know, they were great, but at the end of the trip they were fit to go in the garbage. So when I went to Labrador, summer 2018, last summer, on a big, you know, 3-month expedition up there, which I am working on a series right now, by the way, a video series for that trip, but that's neither here nor there. These are what I wore in Labrador. They're mech. They're like water shoes almost. You know, they got a hard, durable bottom on them, and yeah, they're neoprene up top, but they're rubber down here around the toe and the edges. So there's a bit of protection. You know, not meant for hiking, but good for around camp, and a good pair of slippers in the evening. So I had those, a pair of slippers on the Newfoundland trip, camp shoes or whatever you want to call them, and I had them as well up in Labrador. I do have, yes, these are the boots I wore across Newfoundland and across Labrador. I had the same pair, but two separate pairs. I had one pair going across Newfoundland, and then last year I had another pair for going across Labrador, but the same type of boots, Lowa mountain boots GTX, or Lowa GTX mountain boots. I think these are 9 inches high. They're Gore-Tex, you know, and I did go over these in the most recent camping trip video I done, but geez, I forgot what I was going to say there, but I did go over all that kind of stuff, and yeah, so that right there, they're good boots. I used them again and again, and yeah, but they're wore out, as you can tell. Like, they're faded, they're almost white, but still, they still have solid support, and I could wear these again if I wanted to, no doubt. Just the treads on bottom are kind of worn out, and but other than that, you're good to go. Here's the pack I took with me. Actually, it has my Agua Canyon style there. But this is the pack with me I took across Newfoundland. It's a 110 litre Kelty Red Cloud. Real good bag. And good support on back. The straps are nice. Fits a lot in there, of course. I was going sections on that trip. Like, one section I went like 24, 25 days without a resupply, so I needed a big pack, and I've used that on that trip. I've used it on some trips since. Still going strong, but of course it's not waterproof like my mech dry bag, which you see here behind me. So to combat that, I had a pack cover, so it's like just a ripstop kind of material, waterproof cover that I cover over the pack with. And if you haven't seen it before, it's just like putting a sock on a foot. You just put this right on over your pack, and your pack is waterproof. This is my, I think I went over this in that camping video that I done recently, had to plan a camping trip, but this is just a seal line, medium-sized map case that I put my topographic maps in. They're the government-issued ones, and I have my my compass in there, which I also went over that video that I done. So what else? Camera. So this is the camera I took with me across Newfoundland, and that whole series was documented on this camera. It's a Canon T5i. I also used the GoPro Hero 5 Plus, which is right here. So this, plus this Canon, which ultimately it got wet a few times, and it just kept reviving. But then finally, when the trip was over, like 3 months after the trip, the camera just died on me. So yeah, but that camera and then the lens also got messed up, got water in it. It's a 18 to 135 millimeter kit lens, and that came with the Canon T5i. Good starting camera. I use like you're watching me now, on a Canon 80D with an 18 to 135 millimeter kit lens. But this T5i Rebel is it's pretty good, you know, beginner to, you know, amateur starting camera. Like, you know, even if you've been shooting photos and videos for a while, like, this is not a bad camera for the price range. I don't know, when I bought it, it was like $1,000, everything included, lens and the camera. But it might be a bit cheaper now if they even still make it. But that was that, you know. Like I said, my GoPro Hero 5, and I had I had a chest mount, and I had one for my head, and then of course I had my clamp that I always use, right here. And this is I have two GoPro Hero 5s, but this is a clamp, and it's a pretty cool attachment too, and you can clip that on anything. That's how I can film in a hurry, because I'm just going with this in my hand. It's nothing to it. And I see something, I can just clamp it on real quick and keep walking or do whatever. But yeah, it's a good rig to have. I also had a satellite phone. This is a Spot Global phone. This is the phone I took to Labrador with me last year, but when I crossed Newfoundland, I had another loaner. Well, this is not a loaner. I own this one. I bought this for $200. So I had a good deal on it. I just got to pay for like the annual package for minutes and stuff, which is somewhat expensive. You'll have to check that out yourself. But for the Newfoundland trip, I was lent an Iridium Extreme, and it was a little bit smaller than this, and I think the monthly packages might have been a bit cheaper, but kind of the same anyways. You know, you need it, so it doesn't matter what the cost is. If you're going out for a long time, you need a satellite phone. And this one right here was the one I took to Labrador. It worked well, and I'll keep taking that and activating it when I need it for longer extended trips. And I have it in a waterproof bag, or West Marine, just a waterproof bag, and keeps it dry, and that's important. Charger for the sat phone. I had binoculars on the Newfoundland trip, and these, you know, binoculars, yeah, they're a bit of a luxury item, and that's why they'll never come in my pack again for these long extended trips. That extra, whatever it is, about £1 maybe, it's just not worth it in the pack for me. If something's that far away, I can use the zoom on my camera. Like I have, you know, a real good zoom on that Canon lens. Yeah, so there's no need for binoculars, so I've cut them from my list. If I'm out for a shorter hunting trip locally, I'll take them with me. Nice pair of Celestron Nature binoculars, I think they're called. Nature DX or something like that, but Celestron is the name, the brand. Celestron. And you know, I didn't use them a whole lot. You know, again, it's a luxury item, and so I've cut them from my pack since. Don't take binoculars with me no more on long trips. Now, if you travel in a group or something, and all the gear was dispersed, and someone had a tent, someone had cooking gear, someone had this, someone had that, maybe you could justify throwing binoculars in. But when I'm taking everything, I got to be so selective, and you know, I can just do without them now. The saw I took across Newfoundland with me was this Sven saw, which I had for many years, and I loved it, and I still love it, though it's broke. You've seen these before. I don't even know if I'm going to unscrew it, but it's the 15-inch Sven folding saw. It comes out. I'm going to do it now, because that's just me. Like, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm just going to do it, you know, just do it. So I take this wing nut off here, and you've seen this in my videos before, but for those who haven't, here it is. Some of my, you know, all the Newfoundland vids and other vids I've used it. So you have, you take it out, it slides out perfectly, 2 pieces, and then you have to take the one end and put it in here, and then the other end goes down bottom. And I don't know if you can even see this that well on the camera you're watching me on now, because I don't know if I'm zoomed in close enough. But there you have it. The wing nut goes back on this screw. I'm not going to do it. And you have your saw kind of like this, and you cut away. Like real good saw, small, light. But this new Agawa Canyon I have is 21 inches now, and the longer blade makes all the difference. And this is an even better saw, even though it is a bit heavier. So I don't know, sometime down the road I may get another Sven, I may not, but it was good while it lasted. And basically what happened is, and I could probably fix this up a little bit, I don't know, but there's a piece of metal right here on the top, and it keeps this, oh, I almost cut myself. It keeps this silver piece from sliding all the way through like this. right? That's not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to go that far through. So it's because this metal piece right here is broken. Anyways, I don't know what's going on with it. When you start cutting, this slides right in like this, and it gets all weird and just not safe to use anymore. So yeah, I had that along with my Granfers Brooks small forced axe boat. You know, that forced axe and this came with me on the Newfoundland trip. The Granfers and Brooks is out in the shed right now. Love that axe. But, like, for example, when I go next week on this small minimalist style trip, I'm going to be taking my Frisker's axe because it's even lighter again than my Granfers. And I've just got this thing lately about going light as possible. I don't know, like, you know, I'm not extreme minimalist lightweight backpacking. I'm still, you know, I still have a heavy pack because I got the raft with me and, you know, all my food and everything else, camera gear. But I'm certainly trying to lighten as much as I can. So this is actually the axe I'll be taking with me for that one. Same axe I took to Labrador, and it's just the Frisker's small hatchet. But yeah, what else do I have here? I was on the Crossing Newfoundland trip. I took 2 headlamps with me, just in case one broke or whatever. You know, when nighttime rolls around, you do want a light. And but I don't take 2 headlamps no more. I only take 1. I have a few candles for backup, but I just have extra batteries. I mean, I'm just trusting that my headlamp will hold up, and that way I don't got to take the weight of another headlamp. I just take a few more batteries, and that will prolong the life of my the only headlamp I have with me, which is a black diamond, and I went over that in my most recent How to Plan a Camping Trip vid, which I linked earlier in this vid. Probably repeat myself now. Sorry about that, you know, that's it. I'm just sitting out here on the basement floor, going over things, you know. So, if I'm repeating myself, sorry, I apologize. Yeah, so that's that. What else do I have? I got my fishing rods down here with me. So, like, on the Newfoundland trip, I had taken with me a telescopic rod. One was this yellow eagle claw rod, which I used in my most recent brook trouting video, which I'll link above there if you want to go check that out. But I used a collapsing rod, an eagle claw. So this is it right here. Actually, this is an old one I had. The tip is broken off it, but my other one is around here somewhere. But this does the job. It's a telescopic rod, real light, folds all into one. I had one of those, and then I had another one. I don't know what brand this is. I don't know, some Quantum. I got it at Canadian Tire. Also a telescopic rod, and I had one of these. So I always had 2 telescopic rods with me, and that's all I carried. I didn't take a fly rod across Newfoundland with me because you know, like, that trip was early in the season. It wasn't as good for fly fishing then. And I wanted like a spinner for getting some of the fish that were deeper down in some of the pools. Yeah, so I just thought it was more practical to take spin cast rods with me. Yeah. So, but right here, I took this. No, not this one, sorry. In Labrador, I got this, by the way, is Ugly Stick, an Ugly Stick 2-piece rod. And I love that Ugly Stick rod. I've had it for a long time, geez, at least 6 or 7 years, and still in great condition. But this is the same model, but it comes in 4 pieces. And as you can tell, I only have 2, because when I was in Labrador last going off, I lost 2 pieces on the portage. So it wasn't good. Luckily, I had a telescopic rod there for backup, but I lost 2 pieces, so I only have 2. I want to get the other 2 replaced, but this is another alternative to, you know, because with this 2-piece rod, it's pretty tall, and you got to store it on the outside of your pack. And if you're doing any bushwhacking, like, this 2-piece rod's going to get hooked into trees, and it's going to have a higher chance to break. So when I found the 4-piece version, it's short, not so short as the telescopic, but you know, not much longer, and you can store it on the inside of your pack or on the outside. And I had a big elastic band which kept all 4 of them together when I had it collapsed, and I ended up losing the elastic band, and that's why I ended up losing 2 pieces. But a nice rod, and that's another option that you can have, is a 4-piece rod, and they're just easier to carry around, you know. As you can tell right here, I have my fly rod. I was out the other day just fly fishing for some brook trout, you know, getting warmed up for salmon season. Salmon season has actually started here now in Newfoundland, but I haven't been out yet. I'm hoping to get out now this upcoming week before I go on my mini trip. But I was out just having a few flicks in the raft, and the dogs were out swimming and everything else in the nearby lake. But, you know, that comes in a case, which is good. But I don't necessarily want to be lugging around the weight of the case either, so it's a tough decision. But if I'm taking my fly rod, which is really expensive, I am going to put it in the case. But taking these spin rods, I don't want to get a case for them. So, you know, it's nice to have 4 pieces, something that's shorter, like that, or of course, as I went on the Newfoundland trip, taking these 2 styles of telescopic rods. So that's what I use for fishing on the old trip ski. I also take, of course, a reel and a backup reel. So I have 2 reels with me at all times. I'm relying on fish for, you know, a fair amount of my extra calories. And, you know, I don't want a reel to break, and, you know, something could go wrong, and I could really need fish for my survival. I could get hurt, I could get lost, I could lose my inReach and maps, and I won't know where I'm to or what's going on and everything else. So, and if my rod breaks, it's nice to have a backup reel. So that's what I take. I take 2 reels with me. These aren't actually the ones. I have a nice one over there somewhere, and my other nice one is out in the shed on my fishing rod I've been using lately. But nice to have 2 with you. What else did I have? I had a little radio, which I could hardly ever get radio service at any point in time, so never again will I take a radio with me. But it was a cool thought to think I could get some stations while I'm in there. Like I take my phone with me, and I usually use Spotify on these trips. I usually use it offline because I have the premium version. And you know, when I have enough power and there's sun around and whatever, I don't gotta ration my inReach batteries and my camera batteries too much. I do use, you know, songs on my phone through Spotify. But having a radio would be another good option. But a lot of times when you're out there in remote areas, it's hard to get good radio signal, and it also runs on batteries, so it means I'd have to take extra batteries. So long story short, the weight's not worth it, so radios have been cut from my list of gear that I take. And to wrap this up here now, I've pretty much gone over what I've wanted to go over. I am going to go over my first aid kit in another video in the near future, but I have another fly dope now. I think it's off, like 98% DEET, but on the Newfoundland trip I was using Ben's, what is this now, 30% DEET, Ben's 30 Wilderness Formula. Oh, it was a nice catch, wasn't it? But yeah, I've been using that. I still have some left. I don't use fly dope too much, only when it gets real bad. As I've said in my videos and said before, flies just don't bother me too much, like I'm lucky with regards to that. I'll get a few bites, but like an hour later or the next day, like I don't have any ill effects. I don't swell up. Like, you know, sometimes Heather has some reactions to fly bites, and other people I know. So, you know, I feel bad. It sucks. You know, there's not much you can do about it, but luckily they don't affect me too badly. So my final items here are my stove kit that I took across Newfoundland. Was one that you can get here in local outdoor stores in Newfoundland. Not sure about, you know, the rest of the world. I'm sure you have a similar model, but it comes in this orange case, screws on the top of your fuel cans, screws onto the top, and it opens out like so. And basically, yeah, you have your little stove. You guys have seen these things before. So I took this one across Newfoundland with me, but some of the things were getting a bit loose on it, and it was getting a bit rickety, and yeah, so I retired it, though it's still good to use. I had a grant from my Labrador trip last year from Mick, and I talked about this in my most recent video again, that planning a camping trip video, but I upgraded to an MSR one, which is basically the same thing, exact same thing, little bit bigger actually, and more expensive, but I had a grant from Mick, and I had some money, so I just upgraded my stove. But this is the one I took across Newfoundland with me. And yeah, so other than that, I mean, I've gone over pretty much everything. My raft, you know, my tent, my sleeping gear. Like I can go into camera gear and stuff. Like I take, you know, how many memory cards I take. But that could be another video too. Like basically I've came up with a formula now that a memory card of 124 gigabytes is what I've been using recently. You know, in my Canon camera, which you're watching me on now, 124 gigabytes can do me like 8 to 10 days of footage. And then I have my GoPro memory cards, and each 124 gigabyte GoPro micro SD card uses up, you know, something like, I think it's you can record 8 or 9 hours of video on those micro SD cards. So, you know, so I take a couple of those. If I'm going out for just like, you know, 4 or 5 days, I only need one micro SD, and maybe only 1 or 2 124 gig normal SD cards for the Canon camera. So, but I don't want to get too much into that today. Again, I could do a video on my tech gear at another time, because this is going on and on here now, because I can talk, you know. Wind me up and I can go, and, you know. Sorry for that, but I've gone over everything. That's it. I'm going to clue it up now. Again, I had a life jacket too, like an older style, the camo life jacket, just when I got a Canadian Tire. So like, that's something else I haven't talked about, but you know, just have a life jacket. You got to be safe out there, especially now this summer, you know, it's the boating season. Stay safe. But for now, that's it. I'm going to take off. Really hope you learned something from this video, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Take care, guys.